Hello! Thank you very much for tuning in, for watching, whatever you're doing. And it's been a while since I last posted. I posted my last video, which was the Beatle controversy of Paul is dead. This is the first week of November, and we had a big release this week from Macca. Two big releases from Macca this week. Continuing with his Paul McCartney archive collection, we now have super duper deluxe editions of Wings' Venus and Mars, and Wings, get that right here, Wings at the Speed of Sound. Look at those there. Venus and Mars and Wings at the Speed of Sound. And I just want to say that these are excellent. Let's just talk about sound quality wise. Sound quality on these things. Sound quality is excellent on these things. I mean, I put on Speed of Sound on my way to work. And in the car, I mean, let them in when the groove hits, the bass and the drums. You talk about really thick. You can hear it and feel it. You just want to bop your head along. I know a lot of people criticize the lyrics of Let 'Em In. I'm beyond that. You know, I just enjoy it for what it is. And as soon as it kicks, you're just bopping your head along. Venus and Mars, to be honest, I never liked the way the drums sounded on this. Now, these two albums were both done with the most consistent lineup of Wings. You had Paul and Linda, Denny Lane, Jimmy McCulloch, and Joe English. But this was started, Venus and Mars was started with a drummer by the name of Jeff Britton on drums. And the single, Junior's Farm, backed by Sally G, had that lineup with Jeff Britton on drums. And Junior's Farm and Sally G is on this, which is, I'm glad, finally, because the Wingspan compilation edited Junior's Farm, which I never liked. But excellent sound quality on this. The drums always sounded kind of thin on Venus and Mars. They beefed up the drums more on Venus and Mars. Now, they definitely beefed up the drums more on Venus and Mars, and I'm really impressed with that. On Venus and Mars was always one of my favorite Wings albums. It really was. And it's something that I think Paul learned from the Beatles with Sgt. Pepper and the White Album and Abbey Road, taking a group of songs that probably don't have a relationship with each other and hanging a very loose thread on them to connect the record so it feels like a concept album, even though it isn't. He did it on Band on the Run. He did it on Ram with reprising tracks. He does it here on Venus and Mars. Love and Song, the ballad Love and Song, is one of my favorite McCartney ballads. And then he's got a throwback to the 20s, which is something that he did with the Beatles on When I'm 64 and Honey Pie. You Gave Me the Answer. I love that song. A lot of people talk about it being Paul's grandma music, but how many other people in the rock scene could write a song like that? So, to me, that was always impressive with him. Venus and Mars, great album, sound quality, the extras, the bells, and the bonus CD in here is really good with the bonus tracks. You got, like I said, you have the single of Junior's Farm and Sally G. You also have the song that was done under the pseudonym of the Country Hams, which is Wings with, I think, Chet Atkins and Floyd Kramer on piano. It was a song that Paul McCartney's father wrote, Walking in the Park with Eloise. Nice, fun thing on there. My Carnival, Venus and Mars, was recorded at New Orleans, and a lot of the bonus tracks have that, I'm going to embarrass myself by saying it, that Nolans feel. And that's really good. The B-side, Lunchbox, Odd Socks, is an instrumental. That's on here. A great song that I'm surprised, a lot of Macca fans know this song, and I didn't know the song. 4th of July. Beautiful ballad by Macca. And that's on here. And Beautiful ballad. I never heard that song before. I can't believe I never heard that song before. I guess that's an embarrassment in Beatledom for me. But now, Wings at the Speed of Sound was recorded on a break from their world tour. They'd had a break after touring England and Europe, the big tour, and they recorded this album. And this was the album that came out when they were on the American leg of the world tour, the Wings Over America section of the tour. And I like this album. Again, some critics and people have criticized some of the songs on there. I don't know why. I think it's a great album. And this is an album that Paul wanted to show that Wings was not a Paul McCartney in a backing band, that Wings was an actual band. And again, that classic, the most consistent lineup of Wings. Denny Laine's got two leads on here. One song that Paul wrote, The Note You Never Wrote, which I think is a beautiful song, and Denny Laine's Time to Hide, one of his classics. Jimmy McCulloch, just like on Venus and Mars, went and did another song about his drug addictions, Wino Junko. Paul gave a song to Linda, Cook of the House. I always love that song with the Mellotron saxophone in there. Some people, critics trashed that song when it came out. I loved it. And of course, the big hits on here. Let 'Em In, Silly Love Songs, good songs. Criticize Silly Love Songs all you want. It was #1 for a reason. You can't knock that bass line. Can't knock that bass line. The bonus tracks on here are really good too. Especially the song off this album, Beware My Love, a version of Beware My Love with John Bonham of Zeppelin on drums. And it may be a curio, but I like hearing Bonzo's groove on that song with Paul McCartney. You could almost picture Bonzo and Wings, actually. I really can, and Bonham was a fan of Wings. He really was. Paul talked about how Bonham was always at the concerts on the American leg of the tour, sitting in the front row, practically going, yeah! Some people are knocking the bonus tracks and what's on there. At this stage, I'm not knocking any of the bonus tracks that these guys put out, Paul or George, on their albums. I mean, I'm happy I'm getting something right now, because for the longest time as Beatle fans, we weren't getting anything. There was nothing. We weren't getting bonus tracks. So whatever they release from their vaults now, I'm thankful for. Sound quality is excellent. The liner notes are excellent. I like the booklet design of the packaging, you know, and these are, if you own any of the other Paul McCartney Archive Deluxe editions, this is actually different packaging. You had some sort of a felt packaging on them with the album cover in a square. I think this is a lot better. It's 2 discs and a DVD, plus a big gigantic booklet inside. So, definitely pick them up. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video, where I will be talking about the George Harrison Apple Years box set. I'm going to try and get into that one a bit more in depth, especially since there's some albums in there that I don't think a lot of fans have really cared to listen to in a long time. With Venus and Mars and Speed of Sound, I figure we all have heard these because they're Paul McCartney. But the next one will be the George Harrison Apple Years box set, and I'm going to go more in depth on that one. But thank you very much, and please continue to give me your feedback. We've had some great discussion on some of my videos the last couple of months here, so I really appreciate that, and I appreciate your feedback, and I appreciate your discussions as well. Thank you very much, and have a great day, week, and enjoy whatever you're doing. Peace.